All right, so you're ready to take your English to the next level, huh? That's awesome. We're going to dive deep into some of the best websites for learning English. It can be kind of overwhelming, though, right? There are just so many resources out
Oh,
there.
yeah. It's a real jungle out there. But don't worry, we're here to help you navigate it all.
Exactly. Think of this deep dive as your personal machete hacking through the clutter. So we've got two really cool articles that we've been digging into, one from Fluent U, all about the best websites for any level, and another one listing some really awesome free online courses.
It really is amazing how much is available online these
You
days.
know, right? So have you ever wished you could just learn English by binge watching your favorite show?
Or like dive deep into grammar without it feeling like a total snooze fest.
Well, good news. You absolutely
Yeah,
can.
for real.
Okay, let's jump right in. One website that both of our sources mentioned is Duolingo. Have you used it?
I have. It's great, especially for beginners. I really like their game-like approach.
It's fun, right? And those quick little lessons, like 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, it's perfect for busy people.
Oh, absolutely. You know, it's funny. There's actually a whole science behind it. Micro-learning, they call it.
Micro-learning.
Basically, it's all about breaking down learning into these bite-sized pieces. Makes it way easier for your brain to actually absorb it all.
Interesting. So it's not just about being fun, it's actually designed to be super effective, too.
Exactly.
Okay, so speaking of effective and engaging, let's talk about Fluent U. This one is so cool.
Yeah, I love their approach using real-world videos like music videos, movie trailers, stuff you'd actually want to watch.
Way better than those boring textbook dialogue.
Oh my gosh,
So
yes.
you're learning from authentic content, like how English is actually used in the real world.
Exactly. And you know what? You pick up so much more than just words and grammar. You start to understand the cultural nuances, the idioms, all those little things that make a language come alive.
And their interactive captions. You can click on any word and get the definition, examples, even hear it pronounced correctly.
Yeah, it's super helpful. And their quizzes are personalized too. Like the system adapts to your level.
It's like having your own personal tutor built right into the platform.
It's pretty amazing. They've really thought of everything.
Okay, so we got to talk about British English too, for all our listeners who are loving that British accent.
Ah, yes. We've got two fantastic resources for you. BBC Learning English and the British Council.
Both of those are super well known for their quality, right?
Oh, yeah, and it's all free. Plus, if you're really drawn to a specific accent, it can be really helpful to focus on resources from that region.
Like choosing a mentor, right? You want to learn from someone whose style you admire.
Exactly.
Awesome. Okay, so for all the grammar nerds out there, get ready to geek out. Daily Grammar is an amazing website.
It really lives up to its name. They break down all those complex grammar concepts into really digestible lessons, and their interactive glossary. So helpful.
I know, right? It's like having a grammar dictionary at your fingertips.
And if you're someone who learns by doing, EnglishPage.com has tons of exercises to test your understanding.
Practice makes perfect.
For sure.
All right, so we've covered grammar. Now let's talk vocabulary. Expanding your vocabulary is key to becoming more fluent. No words approach is really fun.
Oh, yeah. They use games and challenges to help you remember new words.
It's like tricking your brain into learning, right?
Yeah.
Because it feels more like play than work.
Exactly. And when you're having fun, you're more likely to stick with it.
Totally.
Yeah.
And Smart Words is another great one. They focus on synonyms, antonyms. They even have sections on idioms and humor.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, because let's be real, sometimes language learning can get a little dry. So a little humor can go a long way.
Definitely.
Okay, so for those who are ready to take their listening skills to the next level, you have to check out TED Talks.
Oh, TED Talks are amazing. You get exposed to all sorts of different accents, speaking styles, vocabulary. It's really like a crash course in real-world English communication.
I love how they cover such a wide range of topics, too. Like, you can literally learn about anything that interests you.
Exactly. And if you're looking for something more structured, with
Yeah.
like university level depth, Coursera has a ton of free courses taught by professors from all these awesome universities.
Coursera. Yeah, that's a great.
It's pretty incredible, right? Like you can learn from the best from anywhere in the world.
Okay, so we've covered some of the big names, but we also wanted to share a few hidden gems, those kind of under-the-radar websites that you might not have heard of.
Oh, I love hidden gems.
Me too. All right, so first up, English Central. They actually provide access to live tutors.
Oh, wow. So you can get personalized feedback and guidance.
Yep, it's like having a dedicated coach for your English.
That's amazing.
Right. Okay, another hidden gem is Freeze Mix. They focus on teaching you common phrases and expressions, not just isolated words, but how to actually UEZ them in conversations.
Oh, that's so important. Because knowing a bunch of random words doesn't really help you if you don't know how to put them together, right?
Yeah. Exactly. And finally, news and levels. This one's super cool. They take news stories and present them at 3 different levels of difficulty.
That's a really smart idea. It
Yeah.
makes it accessible to learners at any stage.
Yeah. And I think it's a great way to stay up to date on current events while also improving your English.
Totally. Okay, so before we move on, I want to share a few quick pro tips from that Fluent U article we mentioned earlier.
Oh, yeah, good idea.
First one, know your level. Like, be honest with yourself about where you're at.
Yeah, starting with material that's either way too easy or way too hard can be super discouraging.
Exactly. Find that sweet spot where you're challenged but not overwhelmed.
Okay, what's the next tip?
Think about your learning style. Are you a visual learner?
Yeah.
Auditory? Do you learn best by doing?
Oh, that's a good point. We all learn differently.
Right. So choose resources that actually match your style. That way, learning feels more natural and enjoyable.
Makes sense. What's the last tip?
Make time for English. Sounds obvious, right? But it's all about consistency. Even short bursts of focused learning throughout the week can make a huge difference.
Think of it like adding a little spice to your daily routine.
I like that. Okay, ready for even more amazing websites?
Oh, yeah, bring it on. I'm ready to discover some more hidden gems.
Okay, well, we've only just scratched the surface. There are so many more fantastic websites out there, each with its own unique approach to language learning.
All right, I'm ready. Hit me with more of those awesome websites.
Okay, so have you ever heard of Cambridge English?
Cambridge English? I don't think so. Tell me more.
So they kind of take a more academic approach, if you really want to get under the hood of the language.
Oh, interesting. So it's not just about learning to speak and understand. It's also about really analyzing the structure and stuff.
Exactly. They've got interactive activities, grammar explanations, vocabulary, even practice tests if you're thinking about taking any official English exams.
Oh, wow. That's super helpful. Okay, so this next one I have heard of. Busuu. I've heard good things.
Yeah, Bazoo's great. They do a really good job of combining cultural insights with different learning methods.
Right. It's not just about the language itself. It's about understanding the culture, too.
Exactly. And one of the things I really like about Busuu is their personalized feedback. They use a combination of technology and actual human interaction.
Oh, that's cool. So you get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, they have opportunities to connect with native speakers.
Oh, that's awesome, because sometimes you just need to, practice talking to a real person, right?
Right, sure. All right, so what about those times when you're stuck on something, like a grammar point or just, you need a quick answer to a language question?
Oh, yeah, totally. Where do you go for those moments?
The word reference forums.
Word reference forums. What's...
It's basically this massive online community of language enthusiasts, people from all over the world, and they're always willing to help.
Oh, that's amazing. It's like having a global network of language buddies.
It really is.
Okay, so what about people who are learning English for their jobs, like for business?
Yeah, there's a website called Lingua that's specifically for that.
Lingua, okay.
Yep. It's great if you want to feel more confident in professional settings, or if you dream of working internationally. They focus on all the essential business vocabulary and communication skills.
That makes sense. It's like a specialized training program, but for English fluency.
Exactly.
All right, so we've talked about all these websites, but sometimes you just need a good old-fashioned dictionary, right?
Oh, for sure. And my go-to is the Collins Online Dictionary. It's super comprehensive, easy to use, tons of examples.
I like how it gives you, the word origins and stuff.
Oh, yeah. It's like a little history lesson with every word you look up.
Totally. Okay, so if you want to learn English through, US-based news, VOA Learning English is a fantastic resource.
Yes. VOA. They do such a good job of adapting real news stories for English learners. They use subtitles, they speak a little slower, they even have specific programs designed for language acquisition.
I love their English in a Minute videos. They're so short and sweet, but you learn so much.
Oh, yeah. Those are great. And you know what else they have? This podcast called Words and Their Stories.
Words and Their Stories. I've heard of that. It's really good, right?
It's so fascinating. They dive into the origins and the cultural context of words. It really makes you appreciate how language evolves and adapts.
I love that. It's like a peek behind the curtain of language.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about listening and reading, but speaking practice is super important too. Have you ever heard of talkenglish.com?
Talkenglish.com. No, what is that?
It's all about helping you improve your spoken English. They have tons of recorded dialogues and phrases spoken by native speakers, so you can listen and repeat until you feel comfortable.
That's a great idea. Repetition is key.
It really is.
Yeah.
And they also give you tips on pronunciation, public speaking, even just like navigating everyday conversations.
That's awesome. It's like having a virtual conversation partner.
Right. Okay, so another really cool resource is ELO. That stands for English Language Listening Lab Online.
Ello, all right. What do they do?
They have a huge library of lessons covering all sorts of topics, and the cool thing is they feature both native and non-native English speakers.
Oh, that's awesome. So you get exposed to all kinds of different accents.
Exactly, because the real world is full of different accents, right?
That's so true. Okay, so for those who love learning through, like, exploring and discovering, the Learning Network from the New York Times is super cool.
Oh yeah, the Learning Network. They take articles in the New York Times and create all these extra materials just for language learners.
Oh, that's a great idea. So you're learning English and you're staying informed about current events.
Exactly. And EnglishPage.com is another good one. They've got really detailed explanations of grammar concepts.
Oh, yeah, grammar. We can't forget about grammar.
Right. And they have tons of exercises to help you really solidify your understanding.
Practice makes perfect.
It really does. Okay, so if you happen to be a German speaker, or if you're just looking for a website that's really well designed for non-native speakers, there's one called EnglishHilfen.de.
EnglishHilfen.de, okay?
They've got clear explanations, relatable examples,
Yeah.
engaging exercises, all kinds of stuff.
That sounds great. I love how there are resources out there for all kinds of learners.
Me too. Okay, so have you ever heard of open culture?
Open culture? Rings a bell. What is it?
It's like this treasure chest of educational materials, like from all over the world, and they have a whole section just for English lessons.
Oh, wow. It's like a global library, but online.
It really is. And if you enjoy testing your comprehension skills, Randall's ESL Cyber Listening Lab is a good one.
Randall's ESL Cyber Listening Lab. Okay, I'll have to check that one out.
Yeah, they have all sorts of listening activities for different levels, and each one has quizzes to see how well you understood.
Oh, that's cool. It's like gamifying listening practice.
Exactly. And finally, for anyone interested in Australian English, ABC Education has some really great stuff.
Australian English. That's a fun one. I love the Aussie accent.
Me too.
Hmm.
They do a really good job of combining language learning with cultural insights.
So you're learning about the language and the culture at the same time.
Exactly. All right, so wow, we've covered a lot of ground today.
I know, right? It's amazing how many different approaches there are to learning English.
It really is, and it can be a bit overwhelming, honestly. Like, where do you even start?
Totally. It's like information overload. So many choices.
Yeah, but you know, the most important thing to remember is,
Yeah, it's almost like too much of a good thing, you know?
right. But the thing is, you don't have to try everything at once. It's really about finding what works best for you, your learning style, your goals, what you're interested in, all that matters.
So it's more like building your own little language learning toolkit,
Mm-hmm.
picking and choosing the things that, like, resonate with you the most.
Exactly. And, you know, it's a journey, not a race. Don't be afraid to experiment a little. See what clicks. That's the beauty of online learning. You can go at your own pace. You can do what you enjoy.
I like that. No pressure, just fun exploration.
Right. Speaking of exploration, you know what we haven't talked about much?
What's it?
Writing.
Oh, writing. Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, a lot of people focus on speaking and listening, but writing is super important too, especially if you need English for like school or work.
Totally. So are there any good websites for that?
Oh, tons. One of my favorites is Purdue OWL. Have you heard of it?
Purdue OWL, yeah, I think so. Isn't that like a resource for college students and stuff?
It is, but it's actually super helpful for anyone who wants to improve their writing. It covers everything: grammar, mechanics, style guides, even how to format a research paper.
Wow, that's amazing. It's like the ultimate writing resource.
Pretty much. And it's completely free. Anyone can use it.
Okay, that's going straight to my bookmarks.
Yeah.
What about if you're like specifically focused on academic writing?
Oh, there's a website called Academic Phrase Bank that's really good for that.
Academic Phrase Bank. Okay, what is that exactly?
It's basically a collection of phrases and sentence structures that are commonly used in academic writing, so it can help you sound more, scholarly.
Ah, I get it. It's like a cheat sheet for sounding smart.
You could say that?
Okay, so we've been talking about websites a lot, but what about apps? Are there any good apps out there for English learners?
Oh yeah, tons. Apps are great because you can learn anywhere, anytime.
True. Convenience is key. So what are some of your favorites?
Well, for vocabulary, memorize is really fun. Have you heard of that one?
Memorize. Yeah, isn't that the one with all the like funny memes and stuff?
Yeah. They use all sorts of creative techniques to help you remember new words. Mnemonics, spaced repetition, even gamification.
That's cool. It makes it feel less like studying and more like playing a game.
Exactly. And for speaking practice, HelloTalk is awesome. It basically connects you with native speakers from all over the world.
Oh, wow. So you can actually practice talking to real people.
Yep. You can have voice calls, video chats, text messages, all in the app.
That's amazing. It's like having a language partner, but in your pocket.
Right.
All right, so as we wrap up this deep dive, any final words of wisdom for our listeners who are on their English learning journey?
Just enjoy the process. Learning a language is an adventure. There will be ups and downs, for sure, but the important thing is to stay curious, stay engaged, and remember why you started in the first place.
Love that. It's all about the journey.
Exactly.
All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of English learning websites. We hope you found it helpful. And remember, no matter what your level is or what your learning style is, there's a resource out there that's perfect for you. So keep exploring, keep practicing, and most importantly, have fun.